Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Get into his house and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. It is Tuesday, March 25th, a couple minutes past the top of the hour. It is time, live from the Low T Center studio. I'm Jason Swain. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247, making his way to Tennessee football practice as Tennessee starts back up their spring practice schedule after spring break. Ben, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. You sound good, man.
Debatable.
Yeah, ripping and running. Lexington, a couple days ago. Indianapolis coming up on deck at the end of the week as Tennessee reaches their third Sweet 16 in a row. Tennessee baseball getting the series win over Alabama after dropping the first game, getting the Bammers' hopes all up, beating the number one team in the country, but it wasn't enough to get this series win. Ben McKee, what a game, man. What a game for Tennessee, men's and women's. The men's, big win over UCLA. The ladies, just an unbelievable game. I mean, if you missed the ladies' game versus Ohio State, you missed an awesome game. Fast paced, a lot of scoring, big time runs on both sides. But Tennessee had the last run to get the win and move on to the Sweet 16, where they will face Texas, a team that they played before. You can make the argument they should have beaten at their place. And that's gonna be a good one. Madison Booker, SEC Player of the Year. That's gonna be a tremendous challenge for Lady Vols. But man, what a good spot Tennessee athletics is in right now. And it was a dub weekend. That's what I'm gonna call wins by multiple Tennessee sports teams over a weekend. I'm calling it a dub weekend. And that's what it was. Two teams went to the Sweet 16. Baseball team picking up a ranked series win. You got tennis. A lot of winning going on. Ben, what's up, man?
Everything is up, from Lexington to football practice to Indianapolis and hopefully San Antonio next weekend. But Tennessee needs to get past Kentucky first, which they have struggled to do this season. You even had Carolyn Pickens throwing the fastest pitch in softball history,
That's
NCAA softball history last night. Tennessee softball salvages the series against Arkansas and avoided being swept last night. And Carolyn Pickens threw the fastest recorded pitch in NCAA softball history at 78.2 miles per hour. So pretty cool that between both the baseball and softball program, Tennessee owns the fastest pitches ever recorded between Ben Joyce and Carolyn Pickens. So it seems like every way you turn nowadays, Tennessee athletics is accomplishing something new or winning something new, which is obviously a good place to be in.
Yeah, man. I mean, not a lot to complain about for sure. I mean, blessed to be in this position if you're a Tennessee fan. This is certainly the golden age, and I mean, everybody wants to win a championship. And it's hard to do. Tennessee baseball was able to do it. Only one team wins a championship. Everybody else are losers. It's just how much of a loser are you? I mean, that's just the way it is, and that's why you play sports. And you know that going into it. Like, the work to put in to be able to win a championship is what makes you stay up at night. What It's what makes you wake up early in the morning, and you understand that if you don't win the championship, you're going to lose. That's going to be the case in the NCAA tournament, both men and women's. And there's going to be tears because the difference between football and basketball is like there's an abrupt end. Like, boom, it's done, over right then. It could be one shot, it could be one possession. It's over right there at that moment. And for so long, being like, you had bowl games that kind of softened the blow, made you feel really good about ending the season on a winning note. But the college football playoff, whew, I mean, that was an abrupt end. Being there at Ohio State, seeing the reaction from the players. I mean, it was over right then. You end your season with a loss. But again, a lot of good stuff going on right now. Tennessee athletics, the men's team, the adjustment. First of all, how was the crowd, man? Like, how was the atmosphere there in Lexington?
The atmosphere was good. There's a strong contingent of Tennessee fans. I think there could have been more, if I'm being totally honest, but I don't want to be negative Nancy this morning. There was a very strong contingent of Tennessee fans, but there were maybe a slight bit more Auburn fans, and I just don't think that should be the case, given how close Lexington is to Knoxville. It was close. It was close in terms of Auburn fans and Tennessee fans in the building, and but it was a good crowd. It really was. I'm not trying to be negative Nancy here, but it was good. It was a fun environment, and it got loud in there when Jemai Mashak let out his early roar to the crowd when he forced a turnover, or maybe it was a jump ball.
Yeah, jump ball.
Chaz Lanier, that stretch to end the first half, that and one that he had, and him yelling at the UCLA bench, it got real loud in there. So again, it was a really, really good crowd. Maybe there's a little more effort that can be given. Tennessee's basketball program could really use the fans this weekend. It could potentially be back-to-back road games for Tennessee this weekend. There will obviously be more Kentucky fans on Friday night, and then if you play Purdue, there will be more Purdue fans on Sunday whenever that game time is, just like there was more Purdue fans last year when Tennessee played. And last year was a bit different for Purdue, right? Like they were trying to get back to the Final Four for the first time in forever, and it seemed like they had a great chance to do so with Zach Edey. And I don't know how close Purdue is to Indianapolis, but it can't be too far, obviously.
I think it's like 45 minutes.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that close.
I
So
think it's pretty close. Let me look it up for
yeah.
sure. But I remember
So
driving.
it'll be an away game if Tennessee plays Purdue. I obviously think that they'll play Houston if they advance, but you never know this time of year. Purdue is battle tested. So if you're on the fence of going, truly criticize fans for not traveling because of how expensive things are nowadays. Yeah, I mean it's expensive for me, and I get reimbursed. So I will never truly criticize somebody who finds it easier to watch at the house, because it does. But if you're on the fence, the basketball program could certainly use your support this weekend, given how difficult of a contest they're going to have to deal with, just because it will be more of a road game than a neutral site game. But it was fun. I was actually impressed with Lexington hosting the NCAA tournament. I had very, very low expectations, but they far surpassed them. I didn't realize Rupp was essentially connected to a convention center, and the convention center that I believe is pretty new. It was very nice. They stuck us in one of the ballrooms for our press conferences and our media workroom, and it was very spacious. It was very nice. It was pleasant to work in, which seems small until it's actually time to work, and then little things like that really matters, especially after 9:40 p.m. Eastern tip time. So they were very accommodating. They were first class, and a lot of those people I'm sure would have preferred to be in Milwaukee with the Cats, but they still were were perfectly fine with treating us the right way. So I actually enjoyed my couple of days in Lexington. It was weird, but all the NCAA tournament signage, it kind of took the weirdness away and felt more like an NCAA tournament game than the fact that Tennessee basketball was playing inside of its rivals' arena.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk. I mean, of course, you want Tennessee fans to dominate a place. We've seen it happen at Omaha. We've seen it happen in football at LSU. We've seen it at bowl games. 2.5 hours is not that far. I mean, and they're Tennessee fans all over the state, so it's not 2.5 for everybody, but it's 2.5 from Knoxville. And to know that it was more Auburn fans there, it's kind of weird because Auburn is further away. But I can't talk because I wasn't there. But I would love to see us show out, and that's a 5.5 hour trip from Knoxville to Indy, from West Lafayette to Indianapolis. It's about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, just depending on obviously how you drive or whatever. But it's not far for Purdue fans, and for Purdue, I mean that's their bread and butter. I mean it's basketball. The whole state in Indiana, it's about basketball. Indiana University, Purdue, it's basketball. So that's a basketball state, and it'll be a road game in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. So I don't talk about if we go. I just talk as if it's going to happen. So Sweet 16, Elite Eight will be road games, and it's not anything that Tennessee's not prepared for. You think about the performance at Illinois. That was probably the most hostile environment that Tennessee played in all season long. I mean, I know they played at Rupp, but that crowd was on top of our guys there. Illinois, you got fans from Illinois putting their hands on our players after the game. I mean, that was a hostile environment. And so for Tennessee to withstand the adversity that happened in that game with Zakai going out and being in foul trouble and Jordan Gaines stepping up and us finding ways to win, put the ball in the basket, even though we wasn't shooting well at all. Like, if you can do that, you can handle Sweet 16 in the Elite Eight. But the biggest adjustment in that game for me that stands out was us going to the 1-2-2, three-quarter press, and that was a turning point for me. You can look at their star guard. I mean, and old boy was hitting shots, man. At the beginning of the game, really made it tough for Tennessee to really extend. But no, he gets in foul trouble, and at that moment, UCLA's offense just wasn't doing anything. Scott Clark, and I mean, it seemed like every shot he made, he was 50% from three, 4 out of 8. But being for me, I know you were at the game. You had great seats. I saw you on TV, man. You had great seats right there on the floor. But for me, the 1-2-2 press, creating some turnovers out of that, slowing down UCLA's rhythm, that was the turning point in that game for me. What about you?
No, I totally agree, and I apologize to your TV that it had to feature me on its screen. I hope it has recovered since.
Yeah, you and Wes.
Yeah, I would like to think that it had to recover more from West than me, but you can blame the UCLA player that elbowed Chaz or bumped him in the gut and made him lose his breath for a moment, knocked his wind out for a moment, but. I agree. It was the press, and it was something that I was told that Tennessee has not gone a lot to this season in terms of that iteration of its press. That they have a couple of different ones, like 3 or 4 different presses, and that one is not even its most aggressive press that it has. But I think the fact that UCLA wasn't necessarily prepared for it because they had not really seen Tennessee do that this year on tape. I think that paired with the physicality that Tennessee plays within the press, of course, really threw them out of sorts, out of sync, and I think they were I think they were flustered after Tennessee went to that 1-2-2 press, and they were just not able to recover. I think Sky Clark being in foul trouble really hampered them offensively as well. And I think, Tennessee doesn't have that one true big man that can take over a basketball game, but I thought it was a group effort. And that's what Tennessee needs from its front court. It needs a group effort. It doesn't need one individual player averaging a double-double or going for 20 and 10 or this, that, and the other. It needs Cade Phillips, Igor Milicic Jr., and Felix Akpara combining for a double-double. And the rebound should be 15 to 20 rebounds a game, 20 rebounds a game, quite frankly, from that front court trio. And that's what you had. I think, they finished with 19, 20 rebounds against UCLA, something along those lines. Cade and
the
Igor.
front court.
Yeah, I think it was 20 on the dot that they finished with, because I think Felix and Igor each had 7, and then Cade had 6. So Igor and Cade alone had 13 combined rebounds.
Yeah.
And they were very, very physical with the big Spaniard that stands at 7'3", who is no Marc Gasol, of course. But
No.
that was also, I thought, a big part of the game is they finally adjusted to that. I think the big fella got tired as well, which is why we didn't see him as much in the second half. And yeah, he is a big fella, so it is easier for him to get tired quicker than others.
Tired last year.
No, but that's why Zach Edey is great, and people didn't give him the credit that he deserves, because he was in great conditioning.
Yeah, he was.
As Rick says, he had great cardio toughness. So that's one of Rick Barnes' favorite phrases is cardio toughness, aka playing while tired. But Zach was also a senior last year, and this fella is in his second year, so there's a bit of a difference there, and I know you know that. But I thought the physicality of Cade and Igor and Felix matched up with him really slowed him down, which was obviously a huge part of the game, because that allowed Tennessee to open up things offensively, because there in the first 10 minutes or so, he was causing a lot of issues on both sides of the floor. So the front court's physicality and Zakai saying, hey, let's go to this 1-2-2 press. Those two things were absolutely the difference in the game, with a little help from Sky Clark.
Yeah, I mean, early foul trouble. And they were calling it kind of tight, on both sides. I think Tennessee did a better job of adjusting, and that's what you have to do. You have that experience, guys that have played on this stage. Now, I understand that, Chaz and Igor and Felix haven't really played in that type of environment with those stakes on the line, where it's a single-game elimination in the NCAA tournament. But I thought those transfers got a good taste of the intensity and a little bit tighter of a whistle at the SEC tournament. There was a lot of talk about, is it worth it? What can you gain from it if you already have your seeding? What does it matter? Well, for those three guys, that was that dress rehearsal that they needed. Especially Chaz, because he's been phenomenal in the NCAA tournament so far, and so I think that really helped those three transfers, the SEC tournament, because they came out against UCLA and did a good job of adjusting to the fouls that were called in that game. And then UCLA offensively, they just haven't been consistent all year long. When they play a defense like Tennessee, they found themselves getting beat by double digits, and that was the case on was that Friday night? Or was that Saturday night? Friday night. But they came out, man. I was kind of nervous at the beginning, man. Old big boy, he was coming out like Edey. He was coming out like he was Yao Ming or somebody. He was blocking shots. Offensive game was on point. He was really affecting the game. But he kind of faded away because of the fatigue, because of the physicality. The broadcast did say he gained some weight and gained some muscle from last year, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough, man. Meshack hitting 2 threes from the wing, not the corners. He didn't even hit the rim when he made those shots. So that was good. I know he was in foul trouble, but the thing about Meshack, because his offensive game is not expected like some other players on our team. With him getting in foul trouble, doesn't really affect his offensive rhythm because there's really not any rhythm, period, for sure. But he was still able to come in and make some shots, even with those foul and being in foul trouble. A lot of scores that impacts them, and you saw that from UCLA. Those guys that got in foul trouble early, and Scott Clark wasn't the only one that got in foul trouble. Eric Daly got himself in foul trouble too, and that affected him. I mean, he was really a non-factor in that game. But just a great game by Tennessee, moving forward to Kentucky, and this is a team that beat you twice, Ben. How you feeling?
I feel better than I think most people do. I know that a lot of Tennessee fans are very nervous, and you should be very nervous. I think that this is the second biggest game in Tennessee basketball history, behind last year's Elite Eight game. And honestly, I feel like there's kind of more on the line with this game. I just don't want to put an Elite Eight game ahead of a Sweet 16 game. But
Wait. Say that again.
I don't want to put an Elite Eight game ahead of a Sweet 16 game in terms of importance.
You okay?
What you mean?
The most important game is the Sweet 16 game.
This year's Sweet 16 game is not more important than last year's Elite Eight game between Dalton Connect and Zach Edey.
No. I mean, I think it's hard to compare the two because.
But I also that's the way I lean, but I don't feel strongly about it because the point that I was getting to is like, if you win, it's one of the best wins in program history, bar none, because of who you are beating. If you lose, it is it might be the worst loss in program history because you're losing to Kentucky in the Sweet 16 when you have a legitimate shot to go to the Final Four, and it would end Zakai Ziegler and Jemai Mashak's career. And we don't know if Rick Barnes is going to be back next year. So you come up short of the Final Four. Your greatest point guard in program history and one of the all-time greats in program history, along with another all-time great in Jemai Mashak, their careers ending to Kentucky, a first-year Kentucky team that is now playing with house money in Mark Pope's first year. And, again, we don't know what may happen with Rick Barnes, which, as Mick Cronin said this weekend, it's the golden era of Tennessee basketball. That would be a gut punch of all gut punches to lose on Friday night, given all the different storylines.
Yeah.
So, I think somebody can reasonably say, this is the biggest game in program history. For me, I still slightly lean last year's game because it was for a chance to go to the Final Four.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was one
but
step.
if you lose this one, you're not going to the Final Four either, and it's only a game away. So I do lean towards last year's being the biggest game in program history, but it's only you're only a game away from that game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I had to stop you and think about it, but it's hard when you're comparing a Sweet 16 game to an Elite 8 game. Of course, the Elite 8 game is the biggest because it's one game away from the Final Four. But currently, this is the biggest game, the second biggest game in program history, if you want to say that, because this is an opportunity. When you look at the field, you're closer to the top of the field this year than you were last year. You played against the top teams in the field this year. You competed. You beat Florida. You beat Auburn. Whereas last year, you never played Purdue. You never played UConn, and you probably wouldn't have won that game anyways because they were just so much more dominant than everybody else. So, you're closer to the top of the mountain this year than you were last year. So, you got a real shot, man. And, I mean, this team is built to win it. When you look at the potential opponents, you beat Kentucky, you beat Purdue, you're playing a Houston team that you matched well up with, but You still have to win 2 games to get to those guys. But, I mean, we've seen with this tournament, we've seen in past tournaments, it comes down to a single possession sometimes. It comes down to taking care of the basketball. It comes down to making shots. We saw that in the St. John's, Arkansas game where St. John shot 9% from 3. 9% from 3. Man, we've had bad games. We've seen bad games where we've shot better than 9%. I mean, we've shot like 15, 17, 21% and lost games. 9%? So, got to make shots. Go ahead.
And then I do feel better about this matchup than, again, I think most people do.
Why?
Because I think Tennessee's guard play is going to be much better than it was in the first 2 matchups. And I think that's going to be the difference. In the first matchup, you had Zakai Ziegler almost tear his ACL and at the end of the first half, and he was not a shell of himself in the second half because of what happened with his knee. Yep. Chaz Lanier is a totally different player at this point in the season. Jordan Gainey, I think, has elevated his game and is playing his best basketball of the season, of his career. I think Jemai Mashak is playing his best basketball of the season. Kentucky is down Jackson Robinson, who gave Tennessee buckets. Kobe Brea is obviously a concern. Lamont Butler, he should not go for 20, but he is their version of Zakai Ziegler. He is the heart and soul of that basketball team. He brings the Tony Allen grit and grind and sets the tone, and he's the one that has the refuse to lose type of attitude. So he will, that could be an issue. But I think Tennessee's guard play is better than Kentucky's guard play right now, even though Kentucky's guard play was better in those first 2 matchups. I just think that Tennessee is playing its best basketball right now, and I think Tennessee's backcourt is a different backcourt than it was in those first 2 matchups, especially the one in Knoxville when they went 11 of 45 from 3. And really the 2 biggest reasons, A, Chaz Lanier, totally different player, playing phenomenal basketball right now, and B, Zakai Ziegler is not going to end his career by losing to Kentucky. I refuse to believe that. Like, there's no way Zakai Ziegler, everything we know about him, he's not going to allow himself and Jemai and the other seniors to go out with a loss to Kentucky to go 0-3 in the same season. Like, that's just not – that's a thought in my head that just does not add up or make sense. And then on top of that, you had Lamont Butler saying that we're going to win the game. So you don't think that's going to, like, I think Tennessee's going to catch Kentucky pretty good, honestly. Like, I feel good about the matchup. Now, there are concerns. You have to slow down Kentucky from 3, which you have not been able to do this season. They have gotten every open 3 that they have wanted. And something's got to change. I thought going into Rupp, like, okay, they got a million open 3s the first time. There's no way this defense allows it to happen again. They did allow it to happen again. I kind of had the same thought that, okay, they did it twice. There's no way they do it a third time. But that is something that Tennessee will need to make adjustments with. I think the point center thing with Ansley Almanar and Amari Williams, I believe that's the name.
Yeah, Amari Williams, definitely.
Yes, like, he was a problem in Knoxville. I think it's big for Cade Phillips and Igor Milicic to be able to step out on the perimeter and defend him on the perimeter. I think both of those guys are capable of doing so. I think they're more capable than Felix of doing it. So, like, there are concerns and big question marks going into the game about the matchup. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to insinuate that it'll be easy, but like, I think there's a lot of things that go in Tennessee's favor, despite what the 0-2 record says this season.
Yeah, the second matchup at Kentucky, that game stands out to me, man, because you had Lamont Butler, who played but didn't finish because he got hurt, and he has on a shoulder brace now. He only scored 6 points, but obviously he's feeling good about himself and feeling good about the chances for him to say that they're going to win. Amari Williams, I mean, he only had 6 points and 3 turnovers, but it was the reserves. It was the freshman guards that averaged less than 3 points per game. Both of them went over their average and combined for 19 points. They came in. Trent Noah shot 75% from three. He was 3 out of 4. Travis Perry shot 66%. He was 2 out of 3. Combined, those guys got you 19 points. That can't happen. No unsung heroes. Brea, it was his last shot. I mean, he is yo-yoing, walks into a 3. When we should be corralling him, making him put the ball in the ground, he's a shooter. And I thought we kind of missed the boat there. But for me, it was those reserves, man. It was those freshman bench warmers that came in and got you a lot. I mean, their leading scorer was Ortega. Owe, 13 points. You can't let him drive the ball to the basket. You can't let him beat you in transition. You got to get back and identify where 00 is because he's their best finisher around the rim right now. And so you can't let
He's
him,
a problem.
Yeah, he a problem, man. And so you can't let him drive the ball to the basket. You better find him in transition. Chaz was 3 out of 13. He's 3 out of 13 in that game. Didn't make a 3. Zakai didn't make a 3. No one made a 3 except for Igor.
He was the only offense that game.
Yeah, he shot 17% from 3. They shot 50% from 3. So
I'd like to think that those numbers will even out at least a little bit, come back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah, you would hope so. And then the first matchup where you lost by less points at home, Kentucky still shot 50% from 3. To start the game, we didn't know where they were. We didn't guard the three-point line worth a hoot in that game to start the game. So they shot the ball very well to start and wound up with 50% three-point shooting. And we shot 24% from three-point line. And so we out-rebounded them. Our turnovers were not too crazy in that game. I mean, goodness gracious, we only had 5, and they had 13. It was a 3-point shot that beat you in the 2 games. In the second game, it was the unsung heroes, the freshman unsung heroes. In the first one, it was a 3-point shot, and then you had Jackson Robinson, who did play in that game at Knoxville. So it's always tough to beat a team 3 times because if you're Kentucky, what's going to be your scouting report? Well, you're probably going to do the same thing you did in the wins. Why would you not? Why would you fix something that's not broke in your opinion, in your eyes? Because it was successful for you 2 straight games. So you're probably more apt to do exactly what you did the first 2 games, whereas Tennessee, you have something to learn from, to improve on. So the pressure's on both teams because you lose, you go home. But, if you're Tennessee, you should feel good about, all right, we're not that same team anymore. You mentioned it. Chastanier's playing better. Jordan Gainey's playing better. Zakai Ziegler's shot is falling now. It wasn't falling then. Our team is playing better. Meshack offensively is more confident. I'm with you, man. It's going to be a tough game, but there's no reason to go into this game because Tennessee lost the first 2 and not be optimistic about Tennessee winning this basketball game.
I'm more worried about the pressure on Tennessee than the matchups itself. And again, that's not to suggest that it's an easy matchup. Containing Kentucky from the 3-point line is going to be very difficult. Kobe Brea, who you did not talk about, but I know that he is a problem as well from the perimeter and has been a problem in the first 2 matchups. So, Kentucky will be a difficult matchup, but I do feel better about the matchup than I do. I don't feel bad. I wonder about how Tennessee handles the pressure because, like I said earlier, I do think there's more pressure on Tennessee for a change. It's weird because it's Kentucky basketball, but given it's year 1 of Mark Pope, given the last couple of years of John Calipari in the NCAA tournament with losing to St. Peter's and losing, who'd they lose to last year?
Kentucky?
Yeah. I'm blanking. But there's been some. Oh, it was the white boy that went off, Goki.
Oh yeah.
What school was he at? Oakland.
Is that Oakland? Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Given the lack of tournament success that ran Calipari out of town, like everybody's riding Mark Pope right now. Everybody adores him. They're kind of playing with house money. Do you agree that more pressure is on Tennessee this weekend? And a two-parter for you. Would you rather be the team that's 2-0 going into the matchup or 0-2 from a mentality standpoint? Would you rather be the team that is going to have a lot of confidence because of the 2-0, maybe too much confidence to maybe you're arrogant on some things, or would you rather be the team that is 0-2 that needs to make some corrections and maybe like you get into the first couple of minutes of the game and things aren't going well and it's like, oh boy, here we go again. I hope that question made sense.
I'd rather be Tennessee. I'm not saying that just because I'm a Tennessee fan. I'll give you an NFL example. During the regular season, the Baltimore Ravens beat the brakes off the Buffalo Bills. I mean, just beat them down. It was the Buffalo Bills' worst loss of the season. The Ravens ran up and down the field, no issue. Lamar Jackson was unbelievable in that game. And remember, they faced off in the playoff game. And leading up to that game, everyone was talking about the Ravens won 35-10 in the first game. And the Ravens just dominated, man. Derrick Henry, 427 total yards, 22 first downs. Buffalo Bills had 236 yards. I mean, it was a beatdown. It was epic. But in the playoff game, leading up to that game, I remember saying, if you are the Ravens, you're going to do what you did the first game. Why would you change it? You won the game and you won it convincingly. But the Buffalo Bills, they're the ones that can make the adjustments based on what didn't work. And they're playing at home.
And there's more of a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
It's just different when you've lost to somebody a couple of times. That other team, they get too comfortable because it's just not the same. You're living on a bit more edge when you're the team that's already lost before.
I don't want to say comfortable. It's just what you did before it worked against that team. And so, like, even if you don't get comfortable and you do the same thing because it worked the first time, the losing team that lost the first time, they're not going to make the same mistake. They're going to do something different. And so what's going to be your adjustment mid-game or during the game, halftime, whatever? Like, what are you able to adjust and counter once that team comes out and does something different than what they did? Were you able to beat them? But the Buffalo Bills won in the playoffs. And I'll tell you one thing, the Ravens didn't run the ball the same. Lamar Jackson didn't have the same performance. And so you just have more to correct and fix if you're Tennessee. So is there more pressure on Tennessee? All right, Tennessee is a higher seed. Tennessee is picked to win. Yeah. But think about it if you're Kentucky. You're supposed to be the big brother. You're supposed to be the blue bud. You're supposed to be the basketball school. You're right down the road from Lexington. You're going to have a lot of fans there. You're going to have more than Tennessee, more than likely. You lose to, air quotes, little brother in basketball. Now, no one's beaten Kentucky more than Tennessee, but we know the series is lopsided. When you look at the history, you have all these championships. Even with the recent success Tennessee has had over Kentucky, what do Kentucky fans always reach for? Oh, we did this. We went to the Final Fours these years. Have you been to the Final Four? Let us know when you make it to the Final Four. That's their only comeback. That's their only comeback. And so you lose to Tennessee, and Tennessee gets to the Final Four. Yeah, that's gonna hurt Big Blue Nation. But it is Mark Pope's first year. They're gonna reach for that. But yeah, I mean, there's pressure on both teams, a lot of it.
There is, for sure. There is. And it'll certainly sting Kentucky, but it'll sting Tennessee worse
Oh,
because
yeah, for sure.
based on the Kentucky media members that I follow, it's already kind of like, wow, this Mark Pope guy, year one, already swept Tennessee, got Kentucky to the Sweet 16 after Calipari's failures the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it'll sting for a couple of days and for a week or so, maybe the rest of the month, as long as Tennessee plays for Kentucky fans. But they will have a much more optimistic view going forward of being like, okay, yeah, that loss, that sucks, but man, we're going in the right direction with Mark Pope. Like they'll be projecting forward, which is why I say there's more pressure on Tennessee. Because if you lose, and this is the end for Rick, and I'm not at all insinuating anything. I know nothing, truly. And you pair that with Zakai, Jamai, and this era of Tennessee basketball, man, that would be a real tough pill to swallow, that you went 0-3 to a Kentucky team that you should not have gone 0-3 against in Kentucky, in the Kentucky head coach's first year leading the charge. That would be man, that would be, I hate even saying a tough pill to swallow. I mean, I think Tennessee would be down for the count for a while, honestly.
Well, Kentucky will probably feel like, hey, it's easier for us to bounce back if we lose than for Tennessee, because Tennessee has Rick Barnes, who's at the end of his tenure. This is the golden age for Tennessee basketball. Like, can they maintain it after Rick Barnes goes away? For us to be able to be in the Sweet 16, our first year of Mark Pope, and we have NIL, we have the prestige. Like, it's more likely that we're going to be back in the same place than Tennessee being able to maintain it. So, like, if you're Tennessee, this is it. Like, you got these seniors, you got Zakai Ziegler. Like, this is it. Even though if you are Danny White, you don't think that way because you feel like you can make the next hire and be right back in there. But if you're Kentucky, that's how you're looking at Tennessee, 100%. All right, Ben, I'm gonna take a quick time out, and we know Tennessee football practice is around the corner, and we got to get you to there so you can cover the squad for a couple minutes. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Stay right with us.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Yeah!
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. Spring is on the way, and that means the March Madness version of real estate is on the horizon. If you're in the home buying or selling mindset, don't wait until you're filling out your brackets to reach out. Get prepared and get in the game now. Call me at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Fellas, let's talk about getting back to your best. If you lack energy, muscle mass, feeling moody, or have low libido, it could be low testosterone. You need to know your T levels, so get tested. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, may be the answer, and you'll find true experts at Low T Center. But guys are not all the same, so don't settle for a standard dosage TRT program. Learn about the personalized treatment at Low T Center and the results you can expect with customized TRT. And for current patients, Low T Center offers a $150 referral credit when you refer a new patient. So go to lowtcenter.com to book an appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
All right, Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. Ben McKee, go Vols 247. Nope, we lost Ben there. All good. Covering football practice. I guess that was Ben signing off officially. Hitting up the Beatty Chevrolet text box this morning. Our telephone number again is 865-255-03. Beatty Chevrolet, home of the warranty for life. New and pre-owned vehicles. You can shop online at BeattyChevrolet.com. You can shop with confidence because of their warranty for life. My family, we've purchased 2 vehicles from Beatty Chevrolet. You know what to expect. Their sales folks in there, they've been there for years and years and years. What does that mean? Well, that means they're happy where they are. They have repeat business. What does that mean? That means that they do right the first time. They sell you a car. They're going to sell you a second car. Your kids may need a car. They're going to sell you that car. It's about doing things the right way all the time, not just sometimes. Chip Haynes says, I think you're more focused as a hunter and not the hunted. I would rather be Tennessee in this matchup. Oh, yeah, for sure. I would rather be. That doesn't mean Tennessee's going to win. Kentucky proved that they were a tough matchup for Tennessee in those 2 meetings, losing the game, but there's more for you to learn from. Chip Haynes, I don't understand why Tennessee don't play a zone of any kind when the 5-man is running point. Seems to be a mismatch when our bigs get away from the paint. The thing about playing zone, first, you're going to give up open shots. And maybe you change up some stuff defensively. We saw Tennessee do that against UCLA. But man is the best defense, period. It's the best defense. You can play zone when maybe you have somebody in foul trouble that you want to protect, or you can't defend the other team man-to-man. Like, you don't have the manpower. But man is the best defense because when the ball goes up, you have a body on a body. You rebound better in man than you do in zone. When you play in zone defense, you have to block out an area rather than in person, and that's hard. So I think man's the best defense, and we just got to do a better job of protecting three-point line, not allowing Lamont Butler to penetrate, not allowing Oweh to penetrate, because when those guys penetrate and get to the lane, we saw in the Wofford game where Wofford got too many open shots because they were getting 2 feet in the lane. Didn't happen against UCLA because I reached out to Ron Slay. I was like, yo, man, I need some help here. I'm texting a buddy. You my buddy. That Wofford game, I'm a little nervous about us stopping the penetration and giving up threes. He's like, we'll be all right. We'll adjust. And we did that versus UCLA. We didn't allow those paint drives. And so don't allow those paint drives from Lamont Butler, Oweh, and you're not getting as many wide open threes. Because Brea, I mean, he's a spot-up shooter. Not saying he can't shoot off the dribble, but he's more of a spot-up shooter. He's the best shooter in the country. But he's more of a spot-up shooter. And then some of those other guys, I mean, they're spot-up shooters. They're not creating their own shots and pulling back and shooting threes. They're not doing all that. this is a different personnel grouping from a guard standpoint than Auburn. Those Auburn guards, them dudes could create their own shot, get to the paint, shoot off the dribble, tough cover. And Tennessee is a better team right now. So I would advise against playing zone unless you're going to do it like a possession or two to throw something different at Kentucky, considering you didn't do it in the first two meetings. That's just my take. UConn was horrible behind three, and that's why they lost. Yeah. Damn, Walter Clayton Jr. Yeah, he's on another level right now. Charger Vol. I think for most fans, this will be the biggest in program history, simply for the chance of ending Kentucky's season in their sport. Yeah, this has a chance to be epic. This has a chance to be a all-time great win for Tennessee basketball, being able to beat Kentucky and send them home. I feel a lot better about this game than I would if we had beaten Kentucky twice. The guys are rolling right now. Honestly, can still turn it up a notch if we can get a tad more scoring from Felix and or Igor. That's from DZ in Milwaukee. Yeah. As long as Igor stays out of foul trouble, like, I feel good. Of course you don't want Felix in foul trouble, but Igor's our best rebounder. And he stretches the floor with his ability to shoot the basketball. And he can drive. But I feel good. Neil and Mafia, two things I hate. Boiled cabbage and the Kentucky Wildcats. Oh, and also Tim Tebow. So three things. Neil Mafia will let you know how he feels about Tim Tebow. Double J says, dang, Ben, I'm still trying to pay for the trip to Columbus. Some of us don't get paid to go to games. Yeah, we were talking about the representation that Tennessee fans need to make there in Indianapolis in the Sweet 16. We need to show up, show out, but we understand everything is more expensive now. A lot of folks are still paying for that Columbus trip. Got a better chance to win in this one, though. And it's inside. Clay says, assuming Rick retires, I know Danny is going to want to get his guy, but do you think Justin Gainey will get a legit interview? Yeah, I think he'll get a legit interview. I just know what type of style Danny White prefers. I mean, look at his two hires here in football and basketball. Look at previous hires. You know, Nate Oates was a guy that he hired before. So I just think that's probably going to be the direction that Danny goes into when that time comes. When that time comes. 865-255-03. Tennessee football practice getting started, I won't say right now. Yeah, right now. Media, they don't have much time. So 8:50, practice starts. They'll be out of there by 9:10. They'll be back out of there. Women's, man, you got to give the women's team some love. To go on the road to Ohio State, beat a team that was undefeated all season long, multiple 5-stars on that team, a team that was seated higher, found themselves down. I mean, we were down that game. And then the response, oh my gosh. The response. Not the last one. but the first one after being down. So Tennessee's down 4 points in the first quarter. It was down more than that. And then Tennessee outscores Ohio State by 9 in the second quarter. And, I mean, there was a time that Tennessee had 15, 16-point lead. I thought we were going to push it to 20. But kudos to Ohio State. They roar back, take a 1-point lead. I was like, oh, gosh, man. Are we going to respond? I thought about the Georgia game at home, senior day. I thought about the Kentucky game on the road. I thought about how we played in our last game in the SEC tournament. I was like, oh, my gosh, man. Did we run out of gas? Surely not. 2 weeks of rest time after the SEC tournament. Boy, we responded. We go on a run and shut the door on Ohio State and win 82-67. What an unbelievable game. Unbelievable game. I mean, if you want, and I don't want to do this, but if you were to say which game was better between the Lady Vols, Ohio State, Tennessee, men's versus UCLA, the Lady Vols game, the women's game was a better game. Dude, it was awesome, the back and forth. But happy for both programs going to the Sweet 16. Lady Vols will play Texas. Men's will play Kentucky. Both teams will play an SEC opponent that they already played to advance to the Elite Eight. How about that, y'all? Both teams playing an SEC opponent. The expansion of the conference, 14 teams now. The men's, 16 teams. But the men's have 14 teams in the NCAA tournament from the SEC. 7 remain. 7 in the Sweet 16. Unbelievable. But both teams looking to make some things happen. And the job that Kim Caldwell's done in her first season can't be commended enough. Can't be highlighted enough. Had a first child, first season. Turned things around. 24-9. 24-9. What a run. What a run. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Kelly Harper. She got the Missouri job. So we'll see how that goes. Congratulations to her. I know she has some Missouri ties from her time coaching in that state before coming to Tennessee. But Tennessee's in a good spot moving forward. We good. Jeffrey Moore says that Ohio State player who was trying to get snappy with Kim Caldwell can kiss my grits. Yeah, now she's fiery now. She's fiery. Talking about Cody McMahon, I was watching her in the handshake line. She was upset the whole way through. And Kim's reaction was the same reaction that other players had after Kim, because Cody McMahon just kept talking and talking and talking. I don't know what she was saying. Oh, she was mad. I think I read her lips. She was saying this is BS. But she's a competitor. And she's fun to watch, man. She had 17 points. I mean, she was instrumental. Her and John in Cambridge. Tennessee native, freshman. Big Ten freshman of the year. I mean, Johnny was awesome. And she's gonna be phenomenal. But those two sparked the comeback. But it just wasn't enough. They didn't have enough help. They just didn't. But our girls move on. Nathaniel, this Lady Vols team in year one that Kim Caldwell has looked more mentally tough than most of the teams I've seen post Pat Summitt. I really do think our performances in the end of the regular season and SEC tournament was because we were physically exhausted, which affects your mentality too. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Volin Birmingham. I hope you went to the game, Volin Birmingham, because you've been to the game in the past where Tennessee baseball has played at Alabama. So I wonder if you went this past weekend. Baseball Vols came through last weekend. Star pitcher got beat up some Thursday night, but Coons and Phillips were dealing. Always good to beat Bama. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Phillips took the bump after being down 0-1 in the series, and they made it happen. What a response from Tennessee baseball. What a response. Good losses. Midweek loss to ETSU, first game against Alabama. You're still number one in the country. But those are good losses. Wake you up a little bit. Chip Payne says, I bet there were a lot more Auburn fans than Tennessee and Lexington. No, Ben said it was. But when you're only good at one sport, you can spend all your money in that sport. Auburn is not an everything school like we are, and we was capitalized. Tennessee's definitely an everything school. I wonder how many schools will be trying to be everything once rev share becomes a thing. That's something to monitor for all schools, not just Tennessee, but for all schools. 865-255-03 is our number. AlphaWildlife.com is the website. If you have issues with wildlife on your property, inside your house, call the veteran-owned Tennessee fans. AlphaWildlife.com is their website. They serve parts of Tennessee, all of Tennessee, Memphis, Tri-Cities, Knoxville, everywhere in between, Nashville, and parts of South Carolina. Go to their website, AlphaWildlife.com, for more information. Tennessee, Kentucky. Friday. I'm feeling good about the game. I'll be nervous on Friday. I'll be a nervous wreck. Don't get me wrong. But I still feel good about how we're playing. Lady Vols will play on Saturday at 3:30. So, both programs playing on a huge stage here in a couple days. Men's team, women's team, baseball team doing their thing, softball. They'll bounce back from a tough weekend, but they'll bounce back. Tennessee football practicing right now. There'll be some media availability. I want to say that Josh Heupel is speaking around 10:30, so there'll be reaction to that and some offensive players as well. We'll talk to the media after practice, and so Thursday we'll be back to discuss it all. Ben McKee will be here. Unless he plans on leaving Thursday afternoon, he should be here on Thursday morning. Since he's playing on Friday. So, yeah, he'll be here on Thursday. We should be good to go. If you missed any part of the show, check out the Big Chevrolet podcast. Subscribe. That way, as soon as it's posted, you will know. So you don't have to miss any show at all. Thanks everyone to everybody on the text box this morning. Easy in Milwaukee. Them tickets ain't $8 this weekend. Colts need that Danny Dimes money. Yeah, them tickets a little bit higher. The moment that Kentucky won, I'm sure those ticket prices went up, knowing that Kentucky fans were going to try to get there. So, yeah, you're right about that, DC. But our boys, they'll be ready regardless. They'll be ready. We'll discuss more for the Sweet 16, Tennessee football, Tennessee baseball, on Thursday. Meant to get more Tennessee baseball in. Got Ben, had to run because of Tennessee football practice, so he had to go cover. We'll be back on Thursday here on the Swain Event, fueled by Daddy and Barbecue. Peace and much love. We are out.